Thank you very much, and good afternoon to friends from the media, both domestic and international. I have 6 brief points to make, besides what has already been shared by my colleagues, senior colleagues, Sherpas, Chief Coordinator and Secretary, Department of Economic Affairs. Point number first, if you really want to get a sense of India's vision, priorities and approach to the G20 presidency, I would encourage all of you to read the op-ed that the Honorable Prime Minister of India has written yesterday. It captures, it distilled a sense of how India envisions and looks at the ongoing G20 presidency of India. 2, the coming together of the 41 heads of delegations, heads of state, government, heads of international organization in India starting yesterday is under Prime Minister's personal leadership and direction. It is essentially a celebration of the coming together of the G20 family. And as our Sherpa mentioned earlier, it's the largest ever participation of the Global South in India. 3, whether it concerns India's national priorities with regard to G20 or the priorities of G20 countries as a collective, as also the concerns and interests of the Global South. The specifics of the agenda which the Sherpa and the Department of Economic Affairs Secretary mentioned, they have been structured in a most inclusive and the harmonious concepts of one earth, one family, one future. 4th, very briefly with regard to the program of the G20 Summit, the summit official conference program is structured around 2 sessions. First one Earth starting tomorrow morning, one family tomorrow afternoon, and one future in the morning of the 10th. Besides 3 sessions of the conference, there would also be a couple of sideline events which are currently being structured involving India and other heads of the state who are visiting us here. 3rd, a dinner by the Honorable President of India tomorrow. 4th, a visit to the Rajghat to pay homage to Mahatma Gandhi. And 5th, a spouses program. These would be the broad 5 elements of the summit. And the last 5th point which I wanted to make, Honorable Prime Minister of India will also be hosting several sideline bilateral meetings during the course of this G20 summit with the visiting heads of state governments and the other leaders who are going to be in Delhi, as I said, starting yesterday till their departure over 10th and 11th. I would stop here and see if we have any questions on this.
Thank you very much, sir. May I lay the ground rules before I open the... Please sit down. Thank you. Please introduce yourselves and the organization you represent. We will take questions in a group because we don't have time. Let me start with Manish here, TV9. Microphones will come to you. Please wait.
Thank you. First of all,
please introduce yourself and the organization.
This is Manish Jha from TV9. Amitabh Ji, Foreign Secretary and Chief Coordinator. I must tell you first of all that arrangement at International Media Center are really excellent. I have attended 4 summits before this summit, and I can tell very proudly that these arrangements are really best. So thank you so much. So my question I would like to ask in Hindi. Amitabh Ji,
continuously you are talking about a joint declaration. You worked hard for it, and you said that joint declaration will come very soon and it will be very specific. But from China's side, about in the joint declaration, no consensus should be made in the name of one earth, one family, one future.
Joint declaration आएगा या नहीं आएगा, अगर आएगा तो कैसे आएगा?
Yashi, yep.
This is Yeshi Seli from the New Indian Express. I'd like to know, Yeshi Seli from the New Indian Express. I'd like to know who's representing African Union. Is it Wacky Sol for the G20? And is the G20 officially going to be
Yeshi,
called...
you're not audible. Could you repeat again?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So this is Yeshi Seli from the New Indian Express. I'd like to know who is representing the African Union for the summit, and is the G20 officially going to be called G21 after the conclusion of the summit?
Okay. Siddhant?
Hi sir, I'm Siddhant from WION. My question is, do you think the absence of the Chinese president impacts the summit's proceeding? Is it an attempt by the Chinese to undermine? Do you see it in that way as well?
The lady in yellow behind.
Samira Hussain with the BBC. I'm wondering if you think that that Ukraine will derail talks and the ability to come up with a joint statement.
I'll repeat the question. None of you are pretty audible. Say, will Ukraine derail the talks and the ability to come up with a joint declaration? That's what I heard.
Will Ukraine derail the talks?
Yeah, I'll take one more question here. Yeah, right here. Nainima, yeah.
This is Nainima Basu from ABP Live. Just one question. On the Russia-Ukraine war, will there be a specific discussion on the Black Grain Initiative? Thank you so much.
So, can I pass on these 5 questions, perhaps?
So let me first say that on the journey of the joint declaration, I would prefer to speak after the summit is over, because